Well, do startups really need HR? And is it really that important for a founder, or for a founder and employee one, or a founder and contract person one, to have HR? So we wanted to tackle an evergreen topic that comes up all the time, so that if someone asks you, is HR important in a startup, you'll know what the experts say. So I'll go ahead and do this one first, since you started with while we were working. I 1,000% believe that HR is important for a startup, even at when the founder has a dream, right? Because a founder's dream is to create a great product or deliver a great service, but none of that happens without people. And so my short thesis is, while you may not need a robust team, you do need to ask yourself certain questions, which Summer will get into, but also, what are the people that you're looking to attract? How much can you compensate them? What does working in your organization look like? What should it look like? What do you want it to look like? And what are the rules of the road that you need to pay attention to? Because you're not building in a vacuum. You're building in a city, county, a state, a nation that has rules, laws, guidances, and best practices. And so you've got to pay attention to the question of your HR and people ops from day one, because it's just as important as your product roadmap. What do you think, Summer?
It's so true. And I'm glad that we're chatting about this topic. While it's certainly broad, I agree with you. It comes up so often. And really, it's the main reason that we have companies coming to us saying, can you help? I mean, we know the answer is yes, startups do need HR. And for many of them, I think they have that discovery at different stages. So while we work with companies that may be as small as like just like literally it's the owner making their first hire and they're coming to us and we're helping them from the very beginning. We also work with companies who are significantly larger, but maybe their needs are a little different. And the question that I'm always asking when startups and small businesses are kind of asking this question, like, do they need HR? I ask them, like, well, how important are people in the future of your business? And I give them an opportunity to think about it. And maybe I'll even ask, like, okay, well, are you planning on doing all of these jobs yourself forever? And so they get to the answer of, like, okay, yes, I need people, I need rock stars. I'm not going to be able to do all of this. And so, we start talking about compliance and how there are so many different laws that companies need to navigate. And then I ask them, Joey, if you made an unintentional mistake with any of the laws related to employing workers, like would your company survive a potential lawsuit? So then, as the small businesses start thinking about, gosh, like this is pretty important because if I don't hire right, then I'm not going to be able to scale. I don't follow the laws, then I might my business might end as a result of a lawsuit before it's really had the opportunity to start. And I think that that's the real foundation. As for why startups need HR, it's because we have the proven systems and processes that we know will grow with that startup, and we can help support them through that growth. And Joey, I'd love to hear a little bit about your thoughts on really where HR comes into play in terms of like scaling a business and gaining leverage. Because I know not only have you been on that journey historically with Jumpstart, but you've uh, helped provide that counsel to other small businesses as well.
Yeah, and Summer knows that we have a phrase that it's very dangerous if you're a small business leader to trust your gut and a Google search to run your HR department. It just doesn't work. because your gut may tell you something that's illegal, and a Google search won't give you the full context and picture around the laws, policies, ethics that you need to be successful. So um, I would say you need to have an advisor. You need to have an advisor to run your ideas off of from the very beginning. Um, Something that could get in the way if you're looking to scale. I see this all the time, right? Okay, so a entrepreneur would say, "I want to grow my business to be the best business that could ever be, and I'm going to do it by hiring interns." And I'm like, "Okay, well, instead of just having a job for you, you've also now created a job to advise, instruct, develop, coach all of these other people who don't have the requisite experience you're looking for, but they may have potential." So I would talk with you and say, well, what is your ultimate goal? Is it to scale and deliver high level service? Or is it that you want to get a minimally viable product out there first and then figure out what's next? Right. So it's everything from, do I hire an intern versus a professional? Do I hire a contractor versus an employee? I think one of the things you realize when you grow and have a primarily consultant or contractor strategy is that you don't really get to share your vision for what a great company looks like, because you don't even get to you don't control that aspect of their work, because you are in a contractual relationship. It's not an employee employer relationship. So there's so many factors to the scaling and growing piece, and those are just two. But I could go all day.
There's actually a conversation that I had in a sales call most recently that actually I think ties into this pretty closely. This company was actually looking at um, creating a franchise model of their business. And we were talking to them about their HR needs. And I don't think what a lot of organizations recognize is that we have a lot of knowledge and experience also on how to scale your business, not just HR specifically, but we're walking through these journeys with companies to see an aspect of the operational piece and how they tie in. And so, in short, the conversation that we had was, as they were considering this franchise model, I mentioned to them, okay, well, what is your big picture plan with how you're going to support these franchises from an HR standpoint? And this company was just envisioning that that they would provide that support, and I had to help them understand the concept of joint employer relationship and why they really need to be leveraging external resources such as Jumpstart to provide that HR support to their franchises so that there is no potential tie between the main company and the franchise if there was any sort of missteps that happen on the franchise level. And I think that was a big aha moment for them that they just simply didn't understand. But at kind of the end of the conversation, they realize, like, oh my gosh, I'm a startup, there's so much that I don't know, and I need to invest in my company and my dream by hiring those that have that have gone through this before and can be my advisor along the way.
Our companies are special to us, but they're not. And I'm saying this as a founder, like they're special to us, but the operational science is not unique, right? Like you got to apply the same principles, the same strategies, same expertise to go out and create those special results. But if you don't have the expertise for accounting, marketing, human resources, legal, you'll run into snags and challenges along the way that won't get you there, when really you just have to build your advisor team to get where you want to go. So, and then the last thing I'll say about this, as far as do startups need HR, I'll say I learned it. Michael Bush, he says it in one of his classes. He says people problems become P&L problems. So people problems become P&L problems. So what may be a trouble employee that you don't know how to deal with, or what may be a talent gap that you haven't filled, ultimately it's going to impact your ability to be profitable. So you need to solve those things as quickly as possible so your company can thrive and grow.